everybody, and welcome to the Biggles Breakdown. My name is Biggles, and today we're talking about Trapped in a Dating Sim. The World of Otome games is tough for mobs. MOBS. Now, if you remember, there we go. If you remember, my most recent Biggles Bites was about this show. And basically, I said it was super hilarious. And I couldn't help but loving it. Now, I want to show these real quick because these are in the ending. These are the little chibi versions of them. And I just love Olivia right here and how angry Angie is. And it's super fun. So what I'm going to do this time is we're going to break it down a little different than normal. We're going to break it down a little bit compared to the manga, as well as breaking it down episode by episode. Now, we have Leon, who is our main character, and he is blackmailed by his sister into playing this game. Now, in the anime, he's threatened that she would tell mom about you know what. Now, it doesn't say what you know what is, but in the manga, it's her stuff. It's her boy love mangas. So his mom thought he was gay and a degenerate, and he was getting yelled at. So he was blackmailed, and she said, "I'll tell her that they were mine and not yours." And before that could happen, he ends up dying because he played this game too long and fell down a flight of stairs and died. Now, in the spin-off manga, which is about Marie, who is actually his sister, you find out later on that they keep saying they act just like my sister, or he acts just like my brother. Well, it's kind of confirmed in the manga that they're related, but it isn't in the anime. It's just hinted to it. And the spin-off about Marie, it's not her boy love magazines. It's his hentai. So he got it. That's what it is in the other one. So somehow the sister dies like 20, 30 years later, and she's reincarnated to the same time as Leon. So I'm thinking maybe the world was paused. We'll see when I go farther into the manga or when season 2 comes out. Now, there is speculation that season 2 will come out next year, and that is because the final volume of the light novel, which the anime is based off of, should be out in English January 2025. So, based on how far it is in like the manga and the light novels, it might be just one more season and then this show is over. So we're thinking season 2 comes out after that. So I can't wait for season 2. I'm going to finish reading the manga from where I am now, which is at the very end of the anime. It's maybe a little bit into the next episode. But one thing the anime does that the manga doesn't do is the anime really focuses on the comedy aspect and how like crazy Leon is. Is this live? Yes, this is live, Apollo. Hello, Apollo. This is live. Yep. So we have Leon, who is our main protagonist. He was killed by falling down a flight of stairs because he was too exhausted from spamming a game which he was just complaining about because he's a guy trying to date guys for his sister, and the game doesn't make sense in the world that he is currently living in. And he ended up buying a premium item, which is Luxion, who is this little ball guy who also is a ship and is also a suit of armor. So we have Luxion there, and he ends up, no, it's not Leon from Resident Evil. So he ends up buying this item in game so he can win. And when he is reincarnated, he spends like 10 years training because he's supposed to go to the academy and find a wife. And he ends up, uh, what happens? He ends up uh, being like sold off, kind of like they're like, we're going to arrange your marriage and you're going to have to date this really ugly chick who's like way older than you, and she just wants you to go die so you can she just wants you to go die so she can get your pension for your survivor's fee for you surviving the war. And that's basically the first episode is I hate this world. So he goes to get Luxion, and he in the manga it shows that he trained a little bit. So in the show, it looks like he just went there and maybe he was recovering for like 3 months, but he was actually training to get enough experience so he can go into this area without dying. And he ends up being crushed by Luxion and basically dying. And once he confirms that he is the new master, Luxion gets him to the sick bay and he is healed. 3 months later, he comes back and he meets this and he heads back to his family. Now, this right here is Zora. This is not his mother, but his dad's wife. Now, this woman is awful, and in this world, women have all the power and status. So his father married her for the status of the barony, so they get more. And she is the worst human being in this entire world, in my opinion. There's one who comes close, but we'll get to her a little bit later. And I hate this woman, and there is one part that makes it amazing in the anime, but it is even better in the manga. Now, so we're back to our story, and we are headed towards the academy. Now, the academy is a place where the guys go to find love while the girls get to study and everything in there. So here, what we do not get in the anime is a lot of backstory. The anime misses out on a lot of backstory. So right here, we have Raymond and Daniel. These are the two friends of Leon. Now, in the manga, it explains how they meet. So there is a club for backwater barons and like backwater lords and stuff. So these are the people that are in the advanced class. We meet Daniel and Raymond there, and they actually have like a little club. So this is how he meets them. He's not friends with them from class. He's friends with them from going into there. Now, when we get to the school, the Otome game is playing out a little bit different than it is in the game that he actually played. Now, the main reason for this is Leon's sister was reincarnated as this girl Marie. Now she wants a life of luxury, so she goes to steal the main character's story so she can marry the prince and have a life that she never had, because she was killed by her awful boyfriend who had a gambling problem that it talks about later, and he beats her to death, and then she's reincarnated here. So we have Marie, who's kind of awful, but not really. And this is, where's Prince Julius? And we have Prince Julius. He is the main interest or the main love interest of the story. He becomes the king of the kingdom, or he's supposed to. But as you can see here, he's got a look of fright on his face. This is from episode 5. Or episode 4. So before we go there, we have Prince Julius. We have Jilk, who is like the brother, or like the adopted brother. We have Chris, who is one of their friends. He's also the Sword Saint's son. He's got like a massive inferiority complex. This is Greg. He's the only one of the group who, if you were to put in a dress, you wouldn't mistake as a girl. He is a meathead. He has a big sense of pride. And our last person of that group is Brad. Now, Brad is egotistical, a narcissist. He calls himself the prettiest out of the 5. He is also the weakest out of the 5. He is strong in magic. His family makes the best suits of armor, from what it sounds like, based on the world building inside the anime and a little bit of the manga. Now, we have our first meeting with the protag. She is being bullied in this episode, and Leon invites her to a tea party. This starts the friendship and eventually love interest for Olivia, her new love interest, rather than those main 5 love interests from the game, is now Leon. So they meet. She's being bullied. All her books were torn up, and Leon sees her, invites her for tea, and they end up having a tea party together, and their friendship starts. Now, we're now going to talk about the most important character, in my opinion. And the reason why he is the most important is because he is Leon's master. Now, what do I mean by master? He is the professor of like etiquette and like tea parties. So Leon's like slacking off in class, doesn't know anything. So Leon's master invites him up to the class and makes him a cup of tea. And Leon falls in love, basically. And like, oh, professor, no, master. And he does anything his master asks. And he even gets that's for later. He even gets disciplined by his master for being bad and causing distress to the ladies. Now, Leon's master is one of the best characters in the show. I love him. What's not to love? And then we get the dungeon dive. Now, the dungeon dive is basically Leon and Olivia going into the dungeon, and they're forced to be the meat shields for the 5 guys and the other nobles, because one's a scholarship student and a commoner, and then the other one is a baron who earned his keep as finding an island and a lost item. So he is well known. So they're like, yeah, let them go in first. And we meet Angie. Let's see. That's going to be a couple. we meet Angie. Now, Angie is the betrothed and fiance of Prince Julius. Now, Maria has been fooling around with Prince Julius and all her friends, and Angie confronts them. Angie is not a fan of Marie for one, fooling around with her fiance, and two, fooling around with her fiance's friends, which means she's not being loyal to her fiance. So she does not approve of that. And Angie is also probably well, not probably. Angie is way better of a character than Marie, and she becomes friends with Leon. Now she challenges Marie to a duel. And all the boys are like, no, I'll fight for you, Marie. Because they're all freaking in love with this chick who has got nothing on Angie. How dare she? Let's see. Do I have a picture of the duel? No, I don't have a picture of the duel. Okay, so they duel, and no one will back up Angie or Angelica, as she's called right now in the story. Now, in the manga, it goes into like her lackeys betraying her and like step aside, and there's like more panels where you barely see it in the anime where they just kind of look away. And Leon sees this, and because he knows they're supposed to be with Olivia and not Marie, he doesn't want he doesn't like seeing Angie be treated that way. So he steps up to the fight and was like, all you have to do is name me your proxy and say I accept, and I'll fight them for you. And then she's like, I accept. And then they make a deal that if Leon wins, she has or Marie has to leave Julius alone. And if the five guys win, then Angelica has to stay out of their business. Now, we get the. Do I have a picture of arrogance? Yeah, I have a picture of arrogance. So this is from a scene later on in the show, but this is arrogance, his ship. So right here on the right, this is arrogance. This is his ship. So he's going to end up fighting these guys with this ship. So he fights the five guys, and he absolutely kicks the shit out of all these guys. Like, it's so bad that this chick right here is Jenna. This is Leon's sister. And Leon's sister had just warned Leon not to go through with the duel. And Angie or Angelica as well was saying, like, I know you stood up for me. Thanks for standing up for me. I've already been disowned. So, like, you can't get anything out of it for me. And he goes, I wanted to just kick those guys' ass because I'm having like a shit time. So, you know what? He goes and kicks those guys' ass. And everybody hates him because they all bet against him. Except for, let's see. Except for Dan, which you only find out in the manga. And then Raymond and Daniel from earlier, his two friends. So those were like the three people that bet on Leon to win this this duel. Now, after the duel, we have let's see. Don't care me, Daniel. I don't get the reference. I am the only. I don't get the reference, Dan Blackroyd. I'm sorry. All right. So now we have Angie and Olivia becoming friends because of the duel, and they were both friends with Leon. Or Olivia was friends with Leon. Angie was the one he was being the proxy for. Uh, so they were sitting together and they started to become friends. Now they after they win, they end up going back to the island that Leon owns, and we get this scene where they're just getting out of the hot spring and they're spending time together and they're getting really close as friends, and you see their friendship grow over the span of the next episode in a half. And it leads to one of my favorite parts of the entire anime. We have the most awful character earlier, Zora, getting put in her absolute place by Angelica. Angie / Angelica puts her in her place, and Zora learns what true power means and kind of just whimpers away like the awful, awful human being that she is. And we get to the episode with Dan, who I just showed, and Clarice. This is Clarice. She is Jilt's ex-fiance because he also left her for Maria. Now, Maria sucks. Maria is awful. She's Leon's sister reincarnated. You're Dan? You're Dan Blackroyd. Yeah. And then this is Dan. And this episode is called We Both Hate Hot Guys. Right? It's called We Both Hate Hot Guys. So in the anime, they bond over them both hating hot guys. But in the manga, Dan goes to tell him that they had, or not Dan himself, but other people had went and messed with his ship or his speeder jet because Jilt just got his ass kicked. So Leon had to replace him. And he warns them that they messed with his ship. And then Leon wins the race and his ship blows up, and Dan ends up saving him from falling to either his death or a really bad injury. Now, if you look behind me, we have Angie and Olivia right here. And it's now, you save everyone. That's because you're the best. I'm not going on a date with you, Biggles. No, we were bonding over how much we hate people, right? Oh, shit. I didn't mean to do that. Okay. Now, we have the tea party. Now, this tea party is where all the drama happens. This is the drama episode. And we have them doing a cafe, and the queen makes an appearance because she wants to have a talking to Julius, or not Julius, to Leon, for her having to disown her son for him being awful. Now we have the queen undercover. We have awful ass Stephanie, who might be actually worse than Zora. And I got to get to her. We have Stephanie. She's a countess. and she is awful. She leads to a lot of problems in here. She gets in between Angie and Livia, telling Livia that Angie only thinks of her as a pet and that she is just numbers to her. She's not a real person. But this bitch, this awful human being, this person that deserves nothing but hatred, starts calling or throwing stuff in Leon's face, tea, kicking him. The queen tells her to stop it. And she calls the queen an old hag. And she's like, she tells the queen, "Do you know who you're talking to? I'm the daughter of Count Offrey. I'm blah blah blah." And Angie goes, "Do you know who you're talking to?" And then we get, let's see, do I have Leon's face? Do I have his face? No. Okay. I just have this. All right. So Leon goes, "Oh, you just stepped in it now." And he kicks the shit out of the Countess's 3 slaves, her 3 manservants, which are basically their playthings. And he kicks the shit out of them. Now, the manservants are considered higher ranking than the students or the male students, and they they have more things. And he kicks the shit out of them on behalf of the queen, for talking shit to the queen. And they say there's only one person who can help, and that's when we get this scene from earlier with Leon and his master. His master stops him and tells him, "You can't do that." Now, we have Livia fighting with Angie, but enter Carla. Now, Carla is basically someone who lives like around the land of the Stephanie, the Countess, and she's basically like a lackey. She's in the regular class. There's an advanced class which all the other characters are in, and then there's like the regular classes which Clara's in, and she has to do basically what Stephanie says, or she gets or like basically her whole life is ruined. Now, she tells them that her lands is being attacked by space pirates, and they need to deal with these space pirates. And I had a picture of the space pirates earlier where we showed the ship. So we have our ship. So they have to go and fight the space pirates. Greg and Brad from the 5 love interests, they end up joining them. And we have to deal with the what's it called? But unfortunately, there's also a fight between Angie or Livia and where is it? Between Livia and Leon. And the reason why they're fighting is because Stephanie told her that Leon only wants her for her body. And Leon's like, "No, that's not it." And she starts crying and saying, "I'm not cute enough. That's what this is for." And they get in a big fight, and they end up getting attacked by the pirates. And he has to defeat the pirates. Him and his ship basically completely destroy the pirates. Livia goes out onto out on the floor, and the pirates try to take Olivia for fun times. And Brad and Greg step in and do their best to hold them off till Leon gets there and destroys the Pirate King. Then they take one of the 3 Saint treasures and gives it, or because he's going to give it to Olivia, and he has to find a way to give it to her, but he hasn't figured out a way yet. And they're still fighting. He sees that Brad and Greg are there, who are originally love interests. And because he's a background character, he says, I am not, I'm just going to let them go with him. I'm going to step out of the way. And this causes severe emotional damage to Olivia. He starts calling her Olivia again rather than Livia, which is what her friends call her and the people that mean the most to her. And we learn that he gives Brad and Greg all the credit. They are no longer disowned by their family, and they basically have respect for him now, but they still want to kick his ass, and they decide to get him promoted again. And then when they get promoted by that, Clarice from earlier, her parents got him promoted as well. So he got another promotion on top of all the promotions that he's been getting. Now, this is where the manga really outshines the anime, because at this point here, it starts talking about all the like background story and what's going on in this world. There's stuff that's going on that isn't mentioned at all that leads to plot points that happen later on. But because they don't mention it, it's just assumed that something else is happening. So the manga has it, the anime doesn't. So a lot of the stuff doesn't make sense afterwards. Oh, and we get hold on, we get another fight here. We get a fight between Angie and Stephanie where Angie basically kicks her ass. So Angie gets a full mount and was wrecking her by the time they had to stop her. And this is all because she was mean to Livia. Now Livia and Angie are still fighting at this point, but they're making it up with each other. They're making up, and Angie's pissed off at Leon for making Livia cry. So there's a bunch of drama going on right now between our 3 main characters, Livia, Angie, and Leon. And we go on a trip. Now, on this trip, there are these 3 key items. So Leon chooses to go to this one place. Angelica and Olivia are also going to that place. So Raymond and Daniel tell him that he needs to go make up with her, or make up with them, and apologize because it's probably his fault anyways. Now, let's see. Now, in the manga, there's a whole different scene than what it is in the anime. So in the anime, we get this wedding shrine. And from this wedding shrine, they get these 3 artifacts or charms, these 3 charms. And it also mentions that Leon gets this battle charm, but it's different. But what happens in the manga, which is it's entirely different in the manga. So they meet up back here. They see him praying for basically a woman that will spoil him. So they go there, but in the manga, they say, or he's chasing this guy down, trying to buy all the charms because he literally came to this island just to get the charms, and he wants all the charms. He offered to pay 100 times the amount of the charms. He offered to pay 100 times the amount. And they're like, no, that's not the point. It's about everybody getting them so we could share the luck. And he ends up getting 2 after everything else was bought. And he says, I have 2 left. And they're a wind charm and a fire charm. And since he doesn't have the capability of having those abilities, he gives them to Angie and Olivia. And then the grandmother who actually made the charm came up and gave him the 3-sword battle charm. And Chris got the regular battle charm in the manga. But, and then the wedding shrine happens, and basically they all kind of wish for the relationship they want. And both Angie and Olivia were kind of wishing for good stuff for Leon. Now, the whole time this is going on, the princess of the Principality of Phanos and the what is he called? He is like the general of their army, Gillette. He's freaking awful. And they shave off his mustache to get revenge because they don't like him. So these guys basically come in and they take over the area, like the passenger ship that they're all on. They go to take hostages, and Angelica is like, take me. I'm the daughter of the Duke. Don't take them. Let them go. All you need is me. Well, they decide that all they do need is her, and they're going to kill everybody in an hour. Now, Leon and Olivia tried to stop Angie from giving herself up, and in the manga, before the wedding shrine, we had Angie's followers come up to Leon to like start shit. But these are the same followers that abandoned her at the duel. And Leon calls them out about it. And in the manga, when this scene is happening, when Angie's giving herself up, they're the ones that kick the shit out of them, and not the guys that kick the shit out of them on the anime or in the anime. So we have this big space fight going on, and Partner, which is his ship, and Arrogance, which is his suit of armor, his giant mech, they're not there yet. So Luxion calls in the calls for them, and he ends up using the speeder bike that he gets from Clarice for helping out and getting Jilt to forgive them earlier. So now we have all the stuff that was leading, or all the things he did earlier leading up to this one event. Now, in the manga, this is where they meet, or no, not yet. That's a little later. Now they go out and fight. He goes in on the speeder bike, shoots through. Chris and 5 other people are in mech suits fighting off the monster invasion, and we just have a fight. He flies through the monster's mouth that leads into the ship, shoots everybody. Before that, we get this scene where he starts a fight with everybody, and he gives this big speech. He's like, I'm a real noble. You're not. You're a bunch of cowards. Your ancestors would be ashamed of you. And he riles them all up, And then we have Miss Roseblade enter it. Deidre Roseblade. Now, she's hilarious. She takes Leon's bait. Leon was baiting them into this to get them all to fight. And she, in the manga, she's a lot, I guess I would say, more of a masochist or like a BDM girl or whatever. She like what or but in the anime, she's like, oh, he's like an untrained dog, and she's like, she likes the way that she snaps at him. So she ends up being like a love interest in the manga for Leon, but not really in the anime because they take out her scenes in the anime or when she had them in the manga. So we have those two, and they're rallying the people. They're fighting. They save Angie, and while the ship's being attacked, Olivia shows her power of the Saint. I didn't get a screenshot of that. I thought I had one, and she basically shoots out light everywhere, creates a barrier around the ship, kills a whole bunch of monsters, but she is now exhausted and on the ground after that. Then we have the Black Knight, which, I put it as the Black Knight, so it's under T. We have the Black Knight show up. So we get a fight between the strongest character in the game showing up to fight Leon. He is the best warrior in this world. And he has a one-on-one with Leon. But in the manga, it's like a 5v1 because he has his own troops. And I just stepped on my light and shut it off. There we go. Look at me go. Way to go, Biggles. Yay. Okay. So, so we have these two fighting. And the Black Knight is the only one who's been able to pierce Arrogance's armor. And he's able to fight with Leon, almost killing Leon, and Lexion's like, let me use my weapons and kill him. And he's like, no, I got to keep my humanity. I can't be killing these people. So he's been knocking out all these people. He'd kill the monsters, but he wouldn't kill the people. He'll knock out the people. And the princess has this magic flute that controls the monsters. They have taken the princess hostage after saving Angie, and him and the Black Knight have a fight, and Leon wins, and that happens, and then but before that, we have a really important part. It is the I love you scene. So Angie and Olivia fully make up, and Angie says, "You're my best friend" in the manga, and in the anime, she says, "You're my most cherished friend." And Angie almost falls to her death, and she decides to let go. And as she's letting go, she sees Leon's face in her mind and says, "Leon, take good care of Livia," and then lets go. Livia grabs her, tries to save her. The ship gets rammed. She throws Angie back up as she's falling, and then Livia falls off instead. And Leon goes and saves her. And she smiles because she knew no matter what, Leon would find a way to save her against all odds. And Leon says, "You don't belong with me. You deserve someone better than me." And then he starts naming off the other 5 guys. And she says why she hates all of them, basically saying all their shitty personality traits, which they're full of them because they are fucking shitty people. And she says, "I love you, Mr. Leon." And they go back up, and then the Black Knight fight happens. But the princess decides that she's going to relinquish her power after they did a thing. And Leon finally tells Lexion that he can release the weapons of partner. So all the monsters are coming in, and he shoots them all down, wiping out the entire monster army in seconds. Tells the Black Knight, "You're going to have to live the rest of your life in shame." And that basically ends all the main stuff going on. Now we have Angie's father and brother, who where are they? Okay, Angie's father and brother. Now this scene in the manga, it talks a whole bunch of other stuff that goes on, and in the anime, it's just them talking about prospects for Leon. Why doesn't Leon have any prospects? But what's going on in the manga at this point is they have now gotten all they've stolen a bunch of the mechs from the Principality of Xanos, and they he's like, I'll open a repair shop, right? And we'll give all these away free, and they just have to come to us for maintenance. That's the deal we made. And Lexion tells him you have to be careful because the repair game is filled of con artists. So that plays a key point later, which we do not get in the anime. It does not explain why that happened. So getting this one spot is so much better in the manga than the anime. And we find out that Angie they might be setting up Angie to marry Leon, because Leon is now promoted to a Viscount. So Leon has jumped like 6 ranks already, or like 5 ranks already since the show started. Now Leon also has he's now a lower 4th rank, so he's like super high up. Now all of this is explained in the manga, but I do not remember exactly what each one means. And we also miss out the scene at his dad's house, where his mother, who is his dad's mistress, we got Clarice, and we have Jenna, we have Deidre Roseblade, we have Angie and Livia all at the house. And in the manga, his dad and him get in a fight over what's better, boobs or butts. And that's not in the anime at all. You don't get any of the like fun stuff. You don't get any really interactions with Leon and his family. There's another younger brother. There's other sisters. And in the manga, there's so much more world building in the manga that it makes the manga better. But this anime is so much fun because the main voice actor is having the time of his life playing this character. And it really shows, and it makes it a lot of fun to actually watch this. Now, that's basically the end of the anime. He tells Livia that he hasn't figured it out yet. Like he doesn't know what to tell her. They meet Lexion. They ask who Lexion is, but this happens earlier in the manga. At the anime, it happens near the end. Livia calls him Lexi, and now he has a new nickname. And Lexion says, "You're basically the same thing as Marie. You both use your knowledge from your other world to get close to the love interest, or to be the love interest of the main characters." And he's like, "We're nothing alike. Like it ruins it." And then he's like, "Maybe I'll just," or Lexion's like, "Maybe I'll just destroy this world And he's like, man, I can have my own harem. And then he's like, wait, no, I'm no better than the girls. And Lexian's like, you learned your lesson. That's basically what I was trying to teach you. So that's basically the end of the anime. I love this anime. It's super fun, but the manga's even better. So if you want to check out Trapped in a Dating Sim, the World of Otome game is hard for mobs. I recommend it. I had a blast watching it. It's quick. It's 12 episodes. The manga took me longer to read than watching it twice. But that's because I suck at reading and I like looking at the pictures a lot. So thank you everyone for being here. And I will see you in the next live stream, which is Friday. And you guys can see me in my videos that I'll be pumping out this week as well. I think I'm going to do a Biggles bite on a different anime, and I'll catch you all later. Bye.
Biggles is here. Hi, says I could be a hooker. Biggles, will your hooker name be Bagels? Mine would be cream cheese.